Hello, my dear viewers and the rest of the listeners. Welcome for this presentation in which I am speaking on the topic toxic relationships to run away from. Toxic relationships to run away from. My name is Meme JM. You can simply call me Emily Swap. Toxic relationships. A toxic relationship is a relationship in which a person feels that his or her well-being is threatened and consistently experiences negative emotions that make him or her feel drained and worn out with nothing to enjoy. In this case, a person is stuck in harmful relational patterns and cycles that are characterized by constant accusations, blames, criticisms, demands, abuses, among such other acts that interfere with his or her physical, emotional, and psychological status, thus making him or her feel that his or her well-being is threatened. It makes him or her feel unsupported, misunderstood, demeaned, and attacked by the other, yet he or she has to forego all his or her feelings, needs, and joy while giving out his or her whole self without receiving anything in return. Therefore, whereas it is good to be in a relationship, just being in a relationship is not enough. What is important is to be in a healthy and happy relationship and not in a toxic one, because that is key determinant for your health and your well-being. A relationship is thus supposed to improve your life and the lives of those involved in it and make it a safe place for you and others, and also enable you and the other participants to experience love, honor, and respect from and to each other. It should always serve as a catapult to victory, engine for growth, and a pillar for empowerment, and not chains for downfall and blocks for misery, as happens in a toxic relationship. For this reason, you should never tolerate bad or unhealthy relationships that embrace superficial and abusive behavior in the name of love. Always remember that you have a great personal life to live and great personal goals to achieve. And for this reason, no manner or type of relationship should ever hinder you from accomplishing your purpose in life. This is because any relationship that hinders your progress in life and makes your life lose meaning or purpose is not good for you and should never be tolerated. This is because a good and a healthy relationship should be one that empowers you to do exploits in life, encourages you to face challenges of life positively, and supports you to achieve your goals and objectives without causing you or the other party any harm. In order to learn more about what a healthy relationship is all about, the characteristics of healthy relationships, and how to establish them, you can listen to the video by the title Establishing Healthy Relationships by Emily Swap that has already been posted in Emily Swap Life Skills YouTube channel. However, as we establish relationships, it is also important to bear in mind that the status of a relationship can easily change from a good state to a bad state, or from a bad state to a good state. This is because relationships evolve, and a healthy relationship today can evolve into a toxic relationship tomorrow, while a toxic relationship today can evolve into it is how the parties involved conduct themselves and the role that they play that determines whether the relationship will evolve into a healthy one or a toxic one. In fact, If your relationship is unhealthy, your entire life and your mental health will be negatively affected. So, whereas you may experience problems out there from other people that you have no relationships with, and whereas you may have trouble while interacting with other people out there, the same should not be reflected in your relationships. This is because a relationship should be a haven of joy and happiness and an avenue for solace. For this reason, nothing should be allowed to deter you from enjoying and benefiting from a relationship, both as an individual and as a team. Otherwise, it would be better to be alone and face life challenges alone. Therefore, relationships should be safe and rewarding and should not be allowed to become prisons of anguish and suffering. In fact, even though it is normal to make some mistakes and sacrifices in a relationship, one should never forget his or her happiness, self-esteem, and self-respect. For this reason, whenever you are with someone that hinders you from experiencing who you should be and denying you your happiness, you should be alive to the fact that it is the kind of relationship that you have that can cause damage to your life. And if you continue living in a toxic relationship, you are going to cause harm to yourself. And therefore, whenever you are with someone that hinders you from experiencing who you should be and denying you your happiness, you should be alive to the kind of damage or to the kind of damage that you may be causing to yourself. For this reason, when you notice such, remember that you are not forced to be in this relationship and you owe such a person nothing, but you owe yourself everything because you deserve to thrive, you deserve to be safe, you deserve to be happy, and you deserve to be respected. For this reason, you must arise from your sleep as soon as you notice such because you still have a great life to live and great goals to achieve. Therefore, no one, and I repeat, no one has the right to deny you your gift of life or curtail your happiness because you are so special and important to experience such. In fact, those individuals that are mistreated, humiliated, undermined, belittled, and misused in a relationship, yet they assume that everything is okay till their lives lose meaning and lose control of their own lives and personality, are those that have low self-esteem, not self-aware, and without good control of their emotions. To learn more about self-esteem, self-awareness, and emotions management, you can listen to the following video by Emily Swap that have already been posted in Emily Swap Life Skills YouTube channel. These are: your self-esteem determines your destiny. Self-awareness, don't be a stranger to yourself. And manage your emotions to experience emotional well-being. A toxic relationship takes toll on the parties and affects negatively the quality of life for the parties because it leads to heightened levels of depression, anxiety, amongst such other emotional, physical, and psychological health challenges. In fact, it is better to live alone and do things alone than to be in an unhealthy relationship because such a relationship will definitely have a negative effect in those involved. However, the greatest challenge in toxic relationships is the failure by the parties to recognize and admit to the fact that there is trouble in their relationship, regardless of feeling unhappy, lonely, or confused, and they refuse to accept the fact that their relationship is not functional. The truth of the matter is that if the relationship is based on lies, on traumatic experiences, on control or manipulation, on comfort and convenience or on material support, then it is bound to have bounty of challenges as time passes. Therefore, being aware that you are in a toxic relationship is very important because you will be able to take the necessary steps to protect yourself and those that you love, and also help you to reclaim yourself and draw a line between what you will tolerate in your life and what to block. The following are therefore some consistent, intensive, and damaging habits that you should watch out for in your relationship so that you can be able to make an urgent decision on whether to continue being in such a toxic relationship, work out on ways to amend this relationship, or seek for exit strategies. Number one is always feeling unsafe and insecure. Always remember that it is normal for a relationship to experience some challenges, but that should not be confused with being in an abusive or toxic relationship. You can tell that you're in a toxic relationship if whenever you are around this person, you feel as if your freedom has been curtailed. You feel worse about yourself and are in constant state of unease as you try to be careful not to do anything that may not impress the other person or party. If you are in constant fear of doing anything around this person so that you don't make a mistake, and that you must always seek for permission and advice on anything before you do it, this is a sign that you are already in captivity and you need to arise from your slavery and think of the way forward. Such partners live in fear of making mistakes because they don't know or they don't allow each other to be imperfect but accountable for what they do. As a result, none even shares his or her deepest hearts with the other, and thus each of them suffer from within because they can't share freely what they are passing through. In addition, if your partner may be depriving you, your right to be your real self and making you question your identity, then such is not a person to be part of your relationship. This is because in a healthy relationship, each partner views the other as someone to offer him or her mutual support, but in a toxic relationship, a person views the other just as an object for use or just as his or her property. It is therefore important to note that if your partner treats you just like his or her property and wants you to always use your way or always want to use you the way he or she wants, while denying you your rights and freedoms, then that is a clear indicator of belonging in a toxic relationship. This is because in a healthy relationship, each person views the other as peer or an equal partner with his or her own rights and freedoms, and thus they treat each other with mutual respect. They sit down together to discuss issues and pave the way forward that is acceptable to both of them. For this reason, there should be no coercion on any matter, but the two parties should always discuss every issue and arrive at an amicable solution. The partners in a toxic relationship also make use of certain conditions to intimidate or threaten the other party in case he or she decides to come out of a relationship. Therefore, your partner wants to control you through threats to lose something, such as threatening you with the consequences of quitting a relationship, such as taking your own life or theirs, denying you financial support, ignoring your children, sacking you from a job, among such other controlling behavior. Such a relationship is not good. In fact, it is due to such fears to lose something that makes some people remain in unhealthy relationships, even when they are wishing that they terminated it. Therefore, when you experience such, It is important that you wake up from your slumber and find a way out before the situation worsens. In fact, if your motivation to stay in a relationship that is unhealthy is the fear of being left by the other party or fear of other people speaking ill of you, then that should be a clear signal that you need to give up such a relationship and come out of it as soon as possible. Number two is criticizing, condemning, and discouraging you. Your partner makes you lack self-confidence and lower your self-esteem because whatever that he or she does or tells you only draws out the worst parts of yourself. Such a person never recognizes your strengths and abilities, but he or she only focuses on your weaknesses and magnifies them, while he or she ignores all the other positive aspects of your life. This partner always makes you feel as if you can never do anything right because he or she constantly focuses on your mistakes, regardless of how small those mistakes might be, and thus he or she forces you to constantly seek for his or her approval before doing anything because of fear that you may hurt him or her or do something in a way that he or she does not like. In addition, this person criticizes you always and makes fun of your weaknesses, ridicules you, and embarrasses you in the presence of other people. This person also approaches you through an eye or a point of condemnation instead of approaching you through a point of compassion. Therefore, instead of this person finding out from you why you have done something or why you have behaved in a certain way, he or she condemns you and judges you without allowing you to express yourself. Number three is your partner blocking your progress and denying your freedom to perform your tasks. If you find out that the individuals you are relating with are constantly expecting you to please them, always by doing for them what they want, while they themselves do not reciprocate, such a relationship may not be of any help to you. Such partners only want you to make them happy as you do for them all what they want, while they deny you the right to experience happiness too. They want you to always serve them as their slave, while they remain as your masters. They thus manipulate your actions and deny you the freedom to perform your tasks without consulting them. These people also make you feel trapped, stuck, and stagnant without any progress in your life because they never let you do anything that may benefit you as a person, because they fear that you may overtake them in the case they let you drive in whatever that you wanted to do. Your partner does not care about your health or your progress in life. So, instead of this person challenging you to improve in your life and support you to achieve your passion, he or she is always discouraging you, blocking you from performing your tasks or executing your duties, is encouraging you to forego your responsibilities and engage in leisure, including consuming substances and drugs, as well as using you for his own or her own personal gain. Another indicator for unhealthy or toxic relationship is a situation whereby your partner gets uncomfortable when you seem to drive in whatever that you do. Therefore, if you find out that your friend or the person you relate with is never happy whenever you succeed in something or seem to be moving ahead in your life, that is an indication that such a relationship is just cosmetic and not real. If you find out that a person that you have been relating with very well has become your enemy all of a sudden simply because you have achieved a certain goal, while he or she has not achieved it, or this person starts to put in place conditions that will deter you from doing what you love doing, or this person associates your success to false deeds, then such a person is not a genuine partner in the relationship. This is because In a healthy relationship, each party appreciates and acknowledges any positive effort put forward by the other party and is ready and willing to offer any necessary support to see to it that this other party thrives in whatever that he or she does. So, a genuine party in a relationship will always do his or her level best to see to it that the other party succeeds in whatever that he or she does and is always ready and willing to walk the journey with him or her. However, a party that backbites the other, that feels jealousy of the other party's achievements, or tries to block and hinder the other party from progressing in life, such is not a genuine and honest party, and the relationship that is existing between the two is just but toxic. Number 4, they hide the truth about themselves. That is, they are dishonest and they engage in cheating. A person who always hides the truth about himself or herself and is always ready to cheat you or lie to you in order to please you is not a good person in your relationship. Such a person is always ready to cover the truth about himself or herself and do anything at his or her disposal to convince you that he or she has done nothing wrong, even when it's very clear that he or she is the culprit. In addition, such a person pretends that all is well with him or her or with the relationship, yet he or she is very much aware from deep within his or her heart that all is not well. As genuine partners, one should never pretend that all is well in a relationship when the truth is that all is not well. So, the earlier you speak about the truth concerning what is happening in your relationship, the better it will be for both of you. Number 5 is not being ready to change one's behavior, but always expecting you to forgive him or her. This individual hurts you repeatedly by repeating his or her bad behavior, yet he or she expects you to continuously forgive him or her and remain with him or her, regardless of how much he or she consciously hurts you. Always remember that, whereas it is okay to forgive someone, you should never accept to remain in a relationship in which forgiveness may finally lead you into having your life destroyed by this other person. So, whereas it is okay to forgive, if the other person is constantly engaged in the behavior of demeaning, belittling, and respecting you through his or her continued misconduct, which may finally lead you to your death or destroy your life's purpose, you have to assess the situation and save your life from such as soon as possible. Number 6 is consistently reminding you of your dark past. This person constantly reminds you about the crimes or wrongs that you committed before, either to him or to other people in the past, whenever you want to move ahead, and does not believe that you can ever change positively and for better, and thus he or she always speaks to you in a sarcastic manner and view you as an individual that is destined to fail and with a doomed future. In fact, whenever a person you are relating with makes it a habit to always bring your evil past to fore over and over again, this slowly kills the relationship, blocks you from forging ahead with life by pulling you back to where you were before, and this finally kills the relationship. Such habits should not be tolerated within a relationship. In addition, when you are constantly reminded of your past mistakes, this kind of reminder makes you or the other party to always feel guilty, bad, and bitter at the present moment, which should not be the case and which is not good at all. Always remember that no one is perfect, and thus whereas one might have had and dark past. That darkness should not be reflected at the current moment, but it should be left behind so that this person who had a dark past can experience a brighter future with the other partner's company and support. This is because as one person continues reminding the other about his or her past mistakes, this does not only hinder this person's happiness at the current moment, but it also makes him or her to spend most of his or her time and energy trying to defend himself or herself instead of focusing on the solution to the present issue that has made this other person bring the past to fore. Therefore, it is always important to treat each occurrence as new without connecting it to the past or previous occurrences. So, by continuously connecting your partner's current wrongs to the previous wrongs, it simply means that you have not accepted this person to be in your relationship, and thus it's better that you release this person that you are not ready or able to forgive from your relationship if you cannot leave his or her past behind. Such a person may also repeatedly tell you that without him or her, you could never have gotten any other person to relate with. Such a person consistently reminds you that you never or you would never be happier and you would never have been able to relate with any other person except himself or herself because others could not tolerate your behavior. Number 7 is a partner who always exposes and tarnishes the other's image through lies and gossips. That is, exposing and tarnishing each other's image through lies and gossips. The person constantly spreads rumors about his or her partner, yet he or she does not openly speak the same issues to his or her partner. Therefore, such individual derives his or her pleasure from gossips and spends most of his or her time speaking ill of others. In addition, this individual is always ready to replace truths about his or her partner's actions with lies just for the sake of tarnishing the good image of his or her partner for no valid reason. This is a person that loves with a person when he or she is present, but speak ill of the same person when he or she is absent. This person can pretend to be your friend, but he or she creates enmity between you and your friends by always speaking ill of you and blaming you for acts you did not commit. In fact, the more you share your secrets with such a person, the more he or she gets insights on how to castigate you and interfere with your progress so that you do not realize your plans. Such a partner can expose you to public ridicule by sharing your shortcomings to other people without your consent, and he or she generally feel happy when you are accused of anything by the public. This type of a person lets his or her partner face challenges alone, and he or she speaks ill about his or her partner to other people. Therefore, even when the public wants to intrude into the relationship affairs, this type of a partner just tolerates it, and he or she cannot agree with his or her partner on what to do. Number 8 is always competing with each other instead of collaborating. These partners are always in a competitive attitude whereby none of them can ever imagine that the other person can be better than himself or herself. Such individuals will always do anything to outshine each other, including performing acts to endanger one another's life. These partners therefore try to pull each other backwards, unleash lies about his or her partner in the presence of their seniors, and even deprive his or her partner the opportunities to thrive or shine for recognition. They are never able to agree on anything because each maintains his or her possession and demands that the other must support his or her idea. Therefore, these individuals are always in disagreement. They are unable to agree on a common approach to major issues that form the core part of their relationship. Therefore, in this relationship, the partners are either never ready to listen to each other, none is ever ready to receive advice from the other, or a partner ignores his or her partner's advice or rejects his or her views, and then proceeds to do what he or she wants, regardless of his or her partner's opinion. So, one party dominates the relationship by demanding that the other person or party obliges to whatever that he or she wants without questioning and without being heard. In this case, one party does not even seek for input from the other party, regardless of whether the decision being made or action being taken is directly affecting the other party or not. Therefore, one party demeans the other party, or the other party keeps on requesting that the other party changes his or her behavior, but this party does not heed to the call. Number 9 is lack of financial accountability and misuse of finances as well as other resources. A partner spends his or her finances irresponsibly, and when his or her partner requests him or her to manage the resources well, this person rejects his or her partner's request under the vague excuse that he or she is making use of his or her money or resources and not resources for the other party. This kind of financial irresponsibility causes resentment, stress, and anger for the other partner. Therefore, if one of the partners is good at squandering the little resources that he or she has, does not have a plan for development and improvement, and just lives between his or her hands and mouth, that's a clear sign to make the other party get worried. This is especially worsened when one of the partners wants to save for their development and make prudent use of their resources, but the other party rejects such a request or gives other party or partner fake excuses just for the sake of discouraging his or her partner from being concerned with his or her resources. These kind of partners treat each other's resources as personal and confidential to himself or herself without disclosing it to his or her partner. Such behavior has profound impact on the partner's trust and respect because the other will always wonder why this other partner exercises secrecy on the use of his or her resources. Even if it is in an organization or a group, the facts about resources must always be laid bare and accountability of its use be brought to the attention of the members. Resources in a relationship are not meant to be for a single individual, regardless of how much each brings into the relationship, but all the resources should be being placed on the table and a budget for the same developed by all the parties. Such a person maintains secrets about his or her daily financial activities, yet he or she wants to be in control of his or her partner's resources and does not even disclose to his or her partner about the available opportunities. In fact, such a person even grabs any opportunity that arises which should have been taken by the other party. Number 10 is engaging in criminal activities, celebrating your failures, wanting you to engage in crime, and defending your wrongdoings. A partner glorifies wrongs either passively or actively and encourages the other party to lead a carefree life and irresponsible life, does not correct him or her even when wrong, does not care about the other partner's programs or life, but all what he or she cares for or about is to be granted full commitment and support to whatever that he or she says without questioning. In addition, this person drives his or her happiness by seeing the other party or person suffer. So, in this context, one partner or both manipulate and coerce each other to do anything that is unethical or do something that is unethical or illegal under the disguise of working harder so as to become better. So, if you realize that your partner is always making requests for you to perform acts that violate the law or that may lead you into trouble with authorities, just for the sake of making them happy, you need to make an early decision on whether to continue risking your life or just walk out of such a relationship. In addition, if one of the partners is in constant use and abuse of drugs and other substances, such a relationship may never drive to greatness, but it is destined to trouble. In fact, there can be no healthy relationship that is characterized of drugs and substance abuse, in as much as some people may try to justify that behavior. Then drugs and substances makes it impossible to have an authentic relationship, and the culprit will always blame his or her lack of sobriety while drunk to his or unhealthy behavior towards his or her partner. The drugs and substance abuse alters one's behavior and personality, thus impairing one's judgment and self-control. For this reason, if one of the partners or both start indulging in drugs or substances of abuse, there is need for the partners to wake up from the slumber and notice that the relationship is destined to fail, because the more either one or both of the parties indulge in drugs, the more the partners will be pushed further apart. Similarly, if a partner in a relationship always defends the other against anything wrong, even when he or she is not sure of whether what his or her partner is being accused of is correct or not, there is danger in such a relationship. Whereas it is healthy to protect your partner in a relationship from harm, it is also important that you don't defend him or her when he or she has committed a crime or acts that you are not sure about. This is because unless you are very sure that your partner in the relationship has not committed the acts that he or she is being accused of, you should not equivocally make excuses for their behavior. In fact, if you really love someone in a relationship, you should help this person to be always ready to acknowledge and apologize for wrongs done and mistakes that he or she has committed without beating around the bush. Let this partner know that you do not tolerate bad manners in as much as you care for him or her. You should never cover up a person from the wrongs committed, because by so doing, you will be endangering his or her future life once that habit gets rooted in his or her behavior. Always discipline those that you relate with. Let them know very well what you like and what you hate, and work hand in hand with each other so as to correct one another amicably for a healthy relationship. Number 11 is not trusting and respecting you and your boundaries. In this case, a person coerces his or her partner to fit within his or her own agenda by forcing him or her to do what he or she would not like to do, go to places that he or she is not comfortable with, consume what he or she would not like to consume, or spend time with the people that he or she feels are not good for his or her life. It is always good to note that you are not a slave to your partner, and for that reason, you must recognize your boundaries and your limits and be ready to say no to anything that goes against your values. No partner, and I repeat, no partner should allow himself or herself to become captive in his or her own relationship. If you cannot be able to speak about yourself or speak out yourself, share what you are passing through to someone else and do not die slowly alone. Speak about it, share about it, and allow others to speak in your life, for they may see things that you may not see yourself. So, in this type of relationship, one partner feels belittled and ashamed by what his or her partner says or does. This person makes the other partner feel stupid through the kind of ones that he or she utters, even in the presence of others, without caring about his or her partner's feelings, because he or she wants to prove to those around that his or her partner can do nothing to him or her. Such a person may even reproach his or her partner in public and in a demeaning manner without even any notice. In fact, this type of a partner also speaks about his or her partner's weaknesses to other people, including that which should have been reserved in private. This type of a partner keeps on investigating, following up, checking on, and manipulating the other person on matters to do with who they are talking to, who they are chatting with, who they are interacting with, among such other manipulative behaviors. Such behaviors are an expression of mistrust of the other person, which is indirectly an expression of feelings of unworthiness to the person engaged in such behavior. Therefore, if your partner cannot believe that you can freely interact with other people without any aspect of mistrust, that is a clear indicator that such a person should not be part of your relationship. Each party in a relationship should therefore always believe that the other party is trustworthy and cannot do anything that damages the existing level of trust for that other person, and therefore, for that reason, no one or no person or party in the relationship should jealously control whom the other party should relate with or interact with. If the other party is always demanding to know who you are with, what you are doing with the other person, what you are talking about with someone else, and barring you from interacting with other people or visiting social events, such controlling and manipulative behaviors is an error in a relationship. Number 12 is lack of support and commitment in the relationship. One partner is always playing a dysfunctional role by being stuck into continuously taking care or nurturing a partner who is not ready to grow or change from his or her current status and become a better person. For example, one partner doing all what he or she can do to help his or her partner come out of a certain habit, such as drunkenness, but this person being assisted is not ready to change his or her behavior. Such a relationship is a great challenge to the party that is interested with the change because it makes him or her get stuck in such a relationship, thus never getting room for growth or room to achieve his or her purpose in life. So, if such a person is not willing to change and grow, but you are yourself willing to grow, then you have to begin to question your roles in such a relationship and make a decision as to whether to remain stuck in it or shape out to be who you should be. Also, if your partner is only with you when you are making achievements and applauding you when you do good, but this person runs away from you when you are passing through low moments and only reappear when things are well with you, then there is need to be alarmed. Such people will always be friends to you when you are not in need, but then they run away from you when you expect them to come to your aid and support you. Therefore, if you have relationships with such people, you need to be cautious so that they do not misuse you for their own gain yet they are not ready to stand with you when you need them for their support. Lack of support for each other is also demonstrated in a situation whereby when one is passing through low moments, and then instead of his or her partner empathizing with him or her, or celebrating with him or her when passing through happy moments, the other party assumes that nothing is happening and just ignores this other partner's emotions. So instead of the person feeling with the other, he or she still demands for his or her own needs and wants from his or her partner, regardless of what this partner may be passing through. In addition, if a partner does not honor or attend to the other's needs, not because he or she is incapable, but because he or she does not feel like doing so, it means that there is a problem in this relationship. Therefore, if you're in a relationship whereby your partner is constantly denying you your rights and not attending to your needs, yet he or she has the ability to do so, then you need to reevaluate and reassess your relationship so that you can know whether it's worth your effort or not. If you realize that whenever you are together with another person, or whenever the other person requests you to visit him or her, or whenever you go somewhere together, the other person does not want to incur any cost, but he or she always demands that you cater for his or her expenses without reciprocating, then that is also another indication that this person is just in the relationship for the sake of what you have. Therefore, if a person only maintains friendship with you just because you provide him or her with whatever that he or she wants, and then when you don't do anything or when you don't do something that he or she requests, he or she gets angry and tells you that you are not a good friend or that you don't love him or her, then such a person cannot establish with you a healthy relationship. This is because in a healthy relationship, the two parties involved should be ready to take care for each other and spend resources together without one party of abandoning the other. If a person tells you that for him or her to know that you love him or her, or that you are his or her friend, you must provide him or her with something like money, and then despises you when you don't meet his or her demands, that behavior simply means that you are friends or in a relationship just because of your resources, and you may be left alone when you'll be unable to cater for your partner's demands. Therefore, in a healthy relationship, the two parties relate together without conditions, and whatever that each of them has belongs to both the parties, and thus any of the two parties can cater for their expenses together at any time without conditions. Always remember that the core purpose of a relationship is to improve the lives and the conditions for all the parties involved and not to bring down the life of the other party. For this reason, whatever that those in a relationship do should be done for the success and well-being of each of the parties involved. Otherwise, if the purpose of a relationship is to become a hindrance to the other party's life, it's better for such a relationship not to exist. In fact, if your relationship always revolves around making your partner happy through gifts, awards, and such other tokens, and doing for him or her anything and everything that he or she wants, regardless of whether you are capable or incapable, yet he or she does not reciprocate till you ignore your own personal needs and forget yourself, then such is a toxic relationship. You should not purchase your right to belong in a relationship by always spending what you have so that the other party can accept you, but the other party should always be ready to have you in the relationship in times of plenty and also in the times of lack. So, if you find out that you are always spending whatever you have on the other party, So that you can remain in a relationship, you should know that you are on your journey to your downfall. This is because when you will have nothing to provide, the other party will definitely run away from you. In fact, in a healthy relationship, each party should support the other with whatever that he or she can be able to offer without placing on the other demands that are beyond his or her ability. Therefore, if you find out that you are always ignoring yourself, failing to adhere to your personal individual programs, failing to meet your targets and your responsibilities, courtesy of wanting to impress the other party in a relationship, it would be better to rethink as early as now. This is because, whereas it is okay to be considerate of the other party in a relationship, you should not ignore yourself at the expense of making the other party happy. If at any time you find yourself frequently say no to yourself in order to say yes to the other party, you need to stop and rethink about your life and your benefit from this relationship. Always remember that the overall purpose of two people or more parties coming together to form a relationship is to be of mutual benefit and support to each other in order to make life easier and better for everyone involved. Otherwise, there would be no need for any type of relationship. For this reason, if at any time one party feels that he or she is being overburdened with the responsibilities of the other party, with a significant and equal distribution of labor and contribution in a relationship, then that is an indicator that this relationship has issues that should be ironed out as soon as possible. In addition, if the partners in a relationship do not share things in common, such that each party decides for himself or herself what to do, what to eat amongst the others, without caring about the welfare of the other party, and without any consultation, such a relationship is as better as not existing in the first place. Number 13 is lack of empathy, compassion, and emotional control. When one partner is passing through low moments, instead of his or her partner empathizing with him or her, or celebrating with him or her when passing through the happy moments, the other partner assumes that nothing is happening and ignores the other's emotions, yet he or she still goes on further to expect the other partner, who is going through a challenging moment, to still meet his or her demands. In addition, in a toxic relationship, a partner does not give the other opportunity to clearly express his or her feelings or opinions, but he or she runs into conclusions and judgments without having sought for a clarification on what his or her partner means by what he or she has said. Such behavior makes the other party feel misunderstood or prejudged, and thus he or she may be put off from expressing himself or herself, which results in unnecessary arguments, fights, or freeze response. Another toxic scenario is whereby one party or person blames the other for his or her own emotions just because the other party does not seem to be super sympathetic or supportive about the issue that has affected the other partner's feelings or emotions. It is always important to realize that you are both different and the other party may not always view a situation or share appropriately in your feelings because the other party may not understand exactly what you are feeling. You should therefore not lash out at the other party for being insensitive to your feelings or blame the other party for your emotions. Always remember that it is not your partner or the other party that is responsible for your feelings and unhappiness, but it is yourself, and thus you should never force the other person to focus on your emotions. Therefore, you should train yourself to always take responsibility for your own emotions without blaming the other party for not feeling with you, yet you have not clearly expressed how you are feeling the other party. However, it is always good to empathize. It is always good to empathize with the other person as you view situations through their own worldview so that you can be able to give them the moral support that they may require when emotionally disturbed. However, the other party should not demand for empathy from the other partner, but this gesture should be made voluntarily and automatically. Also, in a toxic relationship, when a partner shares an experience that he or she has encountered with the other partner, instead of the other partner feeling with him or her, he or she points fingers at him or her and blames him or her as the cause of what he or she is facing, or he or she dismisses the feelings of the other person altogether. As a result, each partner decides to deal with whatever that he or she is passing through at a personal level without bothering to alert the other partner about it, because he or she is aware that his or her partner will just dismiss him or her instead of feeling with him or her. Number 14 is poor communication and conflict resolution between the partners. In a toxic relationship, a partner fails to address an issue directly with the other party, but behave in a way to suggest it to the other party that all is not well, thus making the other party to keep on guessing as to what might have happened to their partner. Therefore, instead of a partner informing the other about what may be upsetting him or her, he or she finds out or finds other small and petty ways to please the other person. This is a clear indicator that the two parties are not comfortable with communicating openly about the issues, and thus a sign of insecurity in the relationship. It is therefore important that each of the parties in a relationship always feel safe and free to openly express their feelings and desires so that the other party can offer the needed support without criticizing the other party or judging him or her. In addition, if the parties in a relationship are always fighting, yelling at each other, name-calling, failing to talk with each other, using force to do something against the will of each other, blaming each other, listening to respond, instead of listening to understand the other person, and constantly interrupting the other person while speaking, those are clear signs to indicate that something is not well in the relationship. However, in a healthy relationship, one party maintains silence as he or she listens attentively at what the other party is saying, regardless of one's feelings about the matter, in order to understand that party before speaking and maintain an open communication and respect. In addition, the parties do not postpone any disagreement or conflict, but the two parties sit down immediately and disagreement has occurred, listen to each other concerning the matter, make proposals on the way forward, and then agree together on what to do. During the sitting, none shouts or yells. During the sitting, none shouts or yells at the other, but the two listen to each other amicably and respectively with a common goal for a better relationship. A relationship is also toxic if one or both parties continuously threaten each other of quitting from the relationship, regardless of how small the trigger might be. Therefore, instead of the other party informing the other one about what he or she needs the other person to do, the person threatens the commitment in the relationship by uttering words that make the other party feel insecure of the relationship. It is therefore important that each party avoid associating every conduct of the other party to lack of commitment in the relationship and instead communicate one's thoughts, feelings, or observations without it threatening the entire relationship. Therefore, whereas it's okay to feel upset by the other party, it's important that each party train himself or herself to always express his or her genuine observation and give feedback to the other person without judging or blackmailing him or her. If you realize that whenever you want to talk about your needs to your partner, it results to abuses, fights, accusations, or empty promises, then there is a problem that should not be swept under the carpet. In addition, a relationship is toxic if a partner always covers the real issues, problems, emotions, and or feelings, even when one has been wronged by the other party by use of superficial pleasures, such as buying gifts of a partner and pretending that all is well, while the other party is very much aware that all is not well. Therefore, whenever there is a conflict in the relationship, instead of covering it up by trying to please the other party through gifts, it is better to speak out the issue and let both of you address it amicably so that you can arrive at a win-win status. This is because if you always make use of gifts and other presents to cover up and resolve the conflicts, yet the real issue has not been addressed, such acts can turn conflicts into business venture, whereby one partner is turned into an automatic teller machine, while the other partner becomes insensately bitter person whose emotions are unheard. So, never use gifts or fancy things to replace dealing with underlying emotional issues emanating from conflicts or covering problems, but always deal with the real problem in order to restore the other party's feelings of appreciation. Number 15 is forgetting yourself at the expense of pleasing the other person. When you are fully committed in a relationship to impress the other party in the relationship until you feel drained and lacking time for your self-care and self-prioritization, it means that the relationship is not okay. It is therefore important that as you try to shift some of your energies and commitments to yourself so that you can be able to re-energize and rethink your commitments in the relationship, you do it. I repeat, it is therefore important that you try to shift some of your energies and commitments to yourself so that you can be able to re-energize and rethink your commitments in the relationship. This means that a healthy relationship should not make you feel exhausted and worn out, but it should be motivating you and making you appreciate life and view life in a positive way. Therefore, it is helpful to always examine how your connections outside of the relationship and within yourself might have been affected by the relationship so that you can be able to try to shift some of your energies to take care of yourself. If you realize that the other party gets annoyed with your action to refocus on taking care of yourself, that can be an indicator that the relationship is toxic. Therefore, in a healthy relationship, each partner should work hand in hand with each other so that each can have some time to appreciate himself or herself and re-energize as he or she moves it forward in a relationship. Number 16 is denying your freedom to socialize with others. If a person that you are relating with always secludes you from his or her friends and family, demands that you grant him or her access to your personal devices and accounts, does not want other people to see him or her with you, and is always pushing himself or herself to be present whenever he or she sees you being with others, such is a person to avoid in your relationship. In fact, if a person just wants you to be alone without interacting with others, does not want you to accompany him or her in social events, and he or she demands that he or she be always present whenever you are in a company of another person, such a person is very dangerous to your life and should be put at bay. Therefore, in a healthy relationship, each person or party should always grant the other autonomy and freedom to interact and socialize with others freely, just as he or she used to do before joining the relationship, but without doing anything that may hurt the current relationship. So, in a healthy relationship, each party allows the other to express his or her personality and enjoy his or her freedoms and rights, but while taking care of the other party in the relationship. In a healthy relationship, each party feels proud of being seen and associating with the other party, grants the other party freedom to socialize with others without their presence, and makes the other party feel appreciated and respected by being allowed to exercise their God-given freedoms and rights that are not detrimental to their relationship. Number 17 is blaming others for his or her status. If you found out that your partner is always pointing fingers and blaming others for his or her problems within the relationship, and even within himself or herself, that's an indication that this relationship may not thrive as would have been expected. Therefore, if your partner is never ready to own up his or her feelings and work on them, but he or she is continuously blaming others for the same, such a person's behavior may also affect your health negatively. For this reason, if your partner is always blaming others for his or her predicaments and also blames them for the status of your relationship, such behavior cannot add value to your relationship, but it's just meant to drain your energy and make this person feel to take up his or her responsibility in the relationship. It is therefore important that an individual in a relationship trains himself or herself to own up to his or her feelings and experiences, then work on them for the welfare of the relationship and not to point fingers at others. In fact, whenever the parties in a relationship allow their connections to evolve into acrimony, develop the attitude for each person for himself, but God for us all, and engage in various behaviors that I have highlighted, it may be extremely difficult to repair such a relationship without some professional help, even though such a toxic relationship can still be recuperated and be turned into a healthy relationship. However, this cannot be possible if all the parties involved do not work together for the change. To learn more on how to convert a toxic relationship into a healthy relationship, listen to the video by the title, Transforming a Toxic Relationship into a Healthy Relationship by Emily Swab, that has already been posted in Emily Swab Life Skills YouTube channel. Therefore, if you are trapped in a physically, sexually, or emotionally abusive relationship, you need to reach out for help as soon as now. Some of the actions that you can take include reporting this person to the security forces or other leaders that can safeguard you or protect you from any further harm. Always remember that you have a single life to live and you are not rehearsing on how to live. For this reason, if you find out that your health and life are in danger, do not be tempted to stay in a toxic relationship because by so doing, you will be endangering your life. It is therefore important that you either come up with the strategies of changing a toxic relationship into a healthy relationship, or you quit from such a relationship altogether. Always give your health and your life first priority in a relationship so that you can always take an action to salvage it from harm once you realize that you are in a toxic relationship. Never be tempted to live in a toxic relationship because death will always be knocking at your door. Therefore, if you try all means possible to salvage your toxic relationship and nothing seems to work, it is better to quit that relationship than to wait for death to snatch you out of it. In addition, if you notice that someone is entangled in a toxic relationship that he or she is unable to come out from, do not just keep quiet and watch this person suffer. Take a positive step to help him or her be set free from such an abusive relationship that is also toxic. It is not good to rejoice when another person is suffering because you cannot live in this world alone. This is because it is heartbreaking to watch someone that you care about get stuck in dangerous relationships. For this reason, it is good for you to approach him or her. Speak to him concerning what he or she is passing through. Take him or her to a psychotherapist and possibly report this type of relationship to the authorities in confidence. Therefore, always spare some time to listen to a person who is encountering challenges in his or her relationship. Believe in what he or she tells you without doubting about it. As you maintain confidence in your discussions, then refer this person to an expert who can guide him or her to navigate on the way forward, such as a psychotherapist or any other professional, including human rights activists and the law enforcers. Then stay present while supporting this person, including watching out, taking action, and intervening when you feel that the life of this person is threatened. So, never watch a person suffer from a toxic relationship only for you to speak out about it after his or her death, because that will not help this person regain his or her life again. You are your brothers and sisters' keeper, and therefore, as you strive to lead healthy relationships, do not forget that those in toxic relationships also need your care and attention. Let's all unite to make this world a better place by treating each other just as we would personally like to be treated, and do all what is within our disposal to convert toxic relationships into healthier and happier relationships, while we also work on improving healthy relationships to become havens of peace and prosperity. Congratulations for listening to this video on toxic relationships to run away from. To access easily more life skills, motivation, and inspirational resources from this Emily Swap Life Skills YouTube channel, click on subscribe button below this video if it's not already reading as subscribed. For any further suggestions, corrections, or queries in relation to this video and others posted in this YouTube channel, feel free to write it to us through the email emilyswap@gmail.com. Thank you very much for listening to me, and God bless you as you run away from toxic relationships. God bless.